Alright, let's take a look at inverse functions. So we're still in preparation for calculus. We're going to make another tab, and basically we're just going to keep making tabs as many as we need in order to do the calculus. Leave 2 lines, draw it to the margin, and then all the way down. This one is going to be called inverse functions. Inverse functions. So again, pause the video and copy as you need, but an inverse function is a function that goes the other way. It is shown by putting a little -1 after the function. So often written like this, f of -1y is saying f is the inverse of y. Alright, so let's take a look at an example. If we said f of -1 of 11 is equal to that input 11 minus 3 and then dividing that whole thing by 2, well, that's going to give us 4. So what the inverse says is the function can go the other way. So let's assume that 11 minus 3 divided by 2 is the forwards way, but we'll say we can go backwards. So we can plug 4 back in, and then we can go backwards and still get 11. So look at what we did for the function. The last thing we did is divided by 2. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply it by 2. Once we get that answer, we're going to add 3 because that's the opposite of what we did before. We subtracted 3 last time. And that should give us back 11. And if it does give us back 11, then we can say then the f of the inverse of 11 is equal to 11. In other words, f of f inverse of 11 is equal to 11 because it gives us back the same output. In other words, you can go forwards and backwards right back to where we started. Don't worry if the official definition is a little confusing. When we get to actually doing problems, it's really easy. So pause the video, copy that down. The very first step is going to be to ask yourself, what is the function? Okay, so the function in this case is f of x, right? Then the next thing you're going to ask is, we're going to put y for the function. So instead of having f of x, we're just going to place y instead of it. So we're going to have y equals 2x plus 1. Number 3, switch x's and y's. Okay, what that means is wherever you see a y, you're going to put an x, and wherever you see an x, you're going to put a y. So the function is going to become x, because I see a y, equals 2y plus 3. So listening check, color in step 3. Color in step 3. The number actually 3. And then finally, step 4, you're going to solve the function for y again. You're going to solve the function for y again. So I'm going to make a mistake in my notes, but you just do what I'm saying versus what I'm writing. So I'm going to subtract 3, so it's going to be x minus 3 equals 2y. Then I'm going to divide by 2, so x minus 3 over 2. I obviously come back and fix it, but let's see if you were listening. Alright, and that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at another example. Pause the video, copy it down. I find the inverse of g of x of this function. So again, you ask yourself, what is a function? G of x is a function. Put y for the function, so you're going to have y equals 7x plus 18 over 2. And then you're going to switch the x's and y's. Where you see a y, you're going to put an x. Where you see an x, you're going to put a y. So it's going to be x equals 7y plus 18 over 2. Then solve the equation for y again. Solve the function for y again. So we're going to multiply by 2, so it's going to be 2x equals 7y plus 18. Subtract 18, 2x minus 18 equals 7y. And then divide by 7. So you're going to get y equals 2x minus 18 divided by 7. And that's it. That's how you find the inverse. Alright, let's take a look at another example. This time we're going to actually graph it as well, or sketch it. Alright, pause the video, copy it down. Alright, so what's the function? The function is f of x. We're going to put y for the function, so y equals -1 minus 1/5 x. Alright, then we're going to switch the x's and the y's. So it's going to be x equals -1 minus 1/5 y, and then we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides first. So I'm going to get x plus 1 equals -1/5 y. Then I'm going to rewrite this so I can show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction. X plus 1 equals -1 y over 5. So now you can see you're going to multiply by 5 to both sides. So you get that. And then divide by finally the negative. So you get -5x minus 5. So that's the inverse. So now let's go ahead and sketch the original function and its inverse. Alright, so you process through -5 and the slope is going to be 5. So I'm going to make this in increments of 5. So each line is going to be 5. So -5, -10, -15, 5, 10, 15, so forth. The listening check, go ahead and box this inverse function. Box this inverse function. Alright, so he's going to start with a process start with the original function. So this process of -1. I'm just going to rewrite this so that's easy to look at. -1, so I'm going to assume -1's on there. I'm going to go 1 down and 5 right because it's changing y with changing x. So 1 down, 5 down. So it's just like a sketch. So I just keep drawing these little points and connect the dots. Alright, for the inverse, it's going to cross a -5, and we're going to go 5 down and 1 right. 5 down and 1 right. And I'm just doing it with my pencil. If I go upwards, I'm going to go 5 up and 1 left. So that way I can still draw my slope. That's pretty much it. This is a listening check. Shade in example 4 only. I'm going to color code this and shade in it with the right color that it goes with, just so I know what graph belongs to which one. And let's take a look at one final example. And with this one, we're actually going to sketch the graph in the next video. So we're going to do the work here, but we're going to sketch the graph in the next video, just because there's a shortcut of doing it. I don't feel like doing it anymore. I pause the video and copy this down. So find the inverse of this function. So again, what is a function? G of x. We're going to replace g of x with y. So we're going to write y equals 1 over x minus 1. Then we're going to switch the x's and y's. We're going to get x equals 1 over y minus 1. And then we're going to solve for y again. So multiply both sides by y minus 1. So that's divide that by x. Add 1 to it. And that's the inverse. So like I said before, we're going to actually sketch this graph in the next video just because it's easier to do it after I teach you the next thing.